welcome to another episode of Gov Tech Today. I'm your host, Jen Saha. Today we have an excellent guest in the studio with us, the esteemed, honorable Amy Tong. You're laughing, but it's true. Like, it's honestly true.
Thank you. Thank you.
So your current title, senior counselor. I don't know if you should be like senior. What does that mean? Like you've been around for a while? No, you're senior in experience. In experience only. Tell us what you're working on and maybe tell us a little bit about how you got there.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for having me. I have heard a lot about this particular podcast, and I felt like, hey, one of these days I'll probably be cool enough to be invited to join.
Oh, stop. Standing invite whenever you want to come in.
I'm really happy to be here. And yes, today my title is the Senior Counselor to the Governor, specifically focusing on government efficiency. And in fact, we call it the E3 effort, efficient. Actually, how do we call it? Gosh, I should know this. Efficient, effective, and engaged government. And yeah, it's one of those things that the governor is actually really, really interested in from the day he walked into the office, and have been really challenged, many of us in the administration, to be, hey, innovative, look for a way to do things differently. How do we, leave the government better the way we found it? Lots of things that he have, put it in our plate to do. But honestly, throughout his administration, all of these years, past 7 years?
Yeah.
We have been dealing with crises after crises. Not to mention, the 2.5 years we have to go through in responding to the global pandemic.
Yep.
But aside from that, whether it's fire or flood or earthquake or other, situation, we felt like, or I feel like I've been trying to do this government efficiency, innovation, transformation work as a side job.
Right. Well, and honestly, it's not even just this administration. Like, efficiency is bipartisan.
That's right.
It's of the interest of everybody working in their jobs. And so, administrations that we've worked in together, which were a couple administrations ago.
Speaking to the senior part of this.
Right, exactly. Also had a focus on this. For every governor that I've ever worked for, it's been like, we need to, trim the fat and be more effective and be more efficient. And we have another 10% budget cut coming down. So how do you solve that with efficiencies? So, but you're right. Every single one of those has the emergency of the day, whether it's a fire or this new AI technology that we all have to turn our focus to. So you've really leveled it up a little bit in your current role and taken it from just a responsibility of the GovOps secretary, which was also your job, and a massive job at that, to really being a focus of someone in the governor's office with the governor's ear, sort of spreading and ingraining this in government as a whole.
Well, and that's the goal. And that's why when, this conversation came up and I was chatting with the governor about just, hey, what are the legacy that he really wants to leave behind? Efficiency in government is one of those, exactly to your point, Jen, that everybody's doing this as a drill. And it's been administration after administration. It's the right thing to do, but never the right time. To be dedicated to do so. So, and he was very gracious to say, what do you want to do? And I said, what about if I could give up my secretary role, to run the government?
And he started sweating when you said that.
And then, but I did, I was very happy I was able to twist arm of the current secretary, Nick Maduro, somebody that I have tremendous respect for. And he, was the director of the California Department of Tax and Fee. And he himself have implemented a lot of these efficiency work in his department. I'm like, hey, if I can get him to be the secretary, then I can be freed up and actually focus on this government efficiency work so that we can actually create an ecosystem and, and like a pathway to be this a lot more rooted so that, between now and at the end of administration, as well as the next administration coming in, hopefully they all see the results and the fruit from this, and this will continue to be a dedicated effort.
I think it's great. I think There are a number of efforts going on around this, and they're ingrained in an executive order, which makes it a big deal, right? It's not just we have someone working on this stuff. It's like we have orders that we legally have to comply with that are focused on this. And you're right, sort of establishing that administration spanning mindset of efficiency as just something we do every day is going to be really important to make it last beyond the next 14 months too.
And the most exciting part of this, and perhaps this government efficiency work or transformation, as you mentioned, January, we've been through multiple administration, is like it's a top down, it's like a goal, like it's the right thing to do. But before I make this decision, because it wasn't easy to leave a GovOp team, which I love that team. I like just, oh my gosh, I'm so fortunate to be able to work with all of them. Not an easy decision to make, but I've talked to a lot of people. There's a lot of folks, regardless what classification or what position they're in, there's, how do I call it, a kind of like a groundswell of interest to say, hey, we're at the age now, not only doing this type of efficiency drill, making the government more effective and engaging, it's a necessity. We are at the place that if we don't do this, we're not being responsible as a public servant.
Yep.
And that's why the executive actually codified the fact that not only there's a strong support from the executive level, we want to engage the 200,000 plus state employee to be part of this. And we're building in the very first governor's innovation fellow from our own people, from our own state workforce.
So give me an idea of like the profile of one of these innovative fellows. Like who are they in government?
Right. So we were also very intentional in selecting the individuals. First, like, hey, if we wanted to have an immediate response, people jump on it. Of course, you start with the executive. But we're like, wait a minute. These are also the same executive like I was, that their plates are overspilling.
They have a day job.
They have a day job. But more importantly, folks, we call it the middle level, whether they're a management or specialists, but just, they see the day-to-day needs and how to make their work, better. And more importantly, they also see the day-to-day need and how, their suggestion, if adopted, could improve, the situation for everyone. And then we wanted to make sure we tap into those talents and those desire to help out and give them a pathway to get involved and to bring others with them. And so that, I'll call it not a sandwich generation. Good goodness, you're talking about senior, I'm thinking about the sandwich generation, but it's really the middle level management team that have, good pulse on what's going on first line work, but enough to hear what the direction in the general to be that translator and do the work themselves. That's the focus we have.
I think it's really important for a number of reasons. Like, first and foremost, you're right. If I'm a director or a deputy director, I have a very busy job already. And you're throwing something else at me. This is a governor's priority. Great. This is one more thing that I've got to focus on. Where when you get to that middle management sort of level, those are the people that see the front lines and have to fill out those forms that they're like, why do we have to do this? My job would be so much better if I could do it this other way. And they're going to have those really cool, innovative ideas.
Right.
The other thing that I think is so important about those people is in 5-10 years, those are going to be the C-suite directors, deputy directors. Like, that's how government works. You are a middle manager and you climb your way up as those C-suites retire or their, appointments don't get renewed or a new governor comes in and wipes them all out. It happens. And those middle managers will sustain after that, 14 months left in the administration to sort of embed this culture of innovation.
That's right.
Forever.
That's right. Another key element that we look for when we are asking nominations of these individuals from their leadership, it's also someone that does not have a tech background. Or actually the exact word we use is tech background not required. because this also speaks to what we want to focusing on, this transformation or this efficiency and effective engagement effort in the state government. Too often, I mean, speaking for someone that is a former state CIO,
you were the
and
CIO,
the deck, like,
so we won't be too hard on tech.
No, like tech, it's in my blood, right? And I, before I left GovOp, like the AI implementation in the state of California is something that I'm very, very proud of.
Yep.
And the team is continue to carry those forward. But even with someone with this much tech, I know we have tendency sometimes just jump into, oh, you have a problem? Great, let tech fix it.
Yeah.
No, let's not do that. Let's have a conversation to understand what the challenges are. And those conversations start with talking to people who's doing the work and understanding, hey, this process is here. Is it because that people used to do certain way? Or is it because there's a policy, some statutory requirement requires the process being done this way? And therefore you're stuck. You have to. And then so before we even get to, do we have a tech solution? Let's have those conversations first. Right?
Tech should always be a part of the solution if it makes sense for your business problem. It's funny, like we see so many times, a department will say, we're open to whatever technology is out there. And then they put out their RFP. And it's literally like, 1,000 pages, all the requirements. I'm looking at them and I'm like, this is the system they have. Like, why? We're just going to get the same system.
Right?
They jump to like, here's how we do it now. Give us something to do this for us. As opposed to like, here's how we do it now. Is this the right way to do it?
Right.
Should we do it a different way? Can we do it a more efficient way, a more innovative way? And then having the tech support that if it calls for that.
Well, and the ironic part is if it is seeking a tech solution by being so prescriptive of what you want, actually preclude you in evaluating the latest technology.
Yep, I know.
Right? So on one hand, we're like, yeah, tech should not be in the forefront. On the other hand, so now I'm flipping back to my tech, background. For those solutions that come in responding to a challenge statement and problem statement, which, by the way, the governor is still huge on the request for innovative idea. Like stick at that level.
I love it.
Right?
Yep.
For people responding to it, don't give us a 5-year-old technology solution. Tell us what is the latest that is out there. And if that latest that you aren't sure as an industry partner, like, it's latest, the state is not known for, on the bleeding technology, but I want to try it. That is exactly the partnership we want.
Yeah, let's give it a shot.
Let's do a proof of concept. Let's put it, into a test bed, see if it works. If it works, let's figure out how to scale it. If it doesn't work, no harm, no foul.
Yep.
The lessons we learn from it is just as valuable.
Yeah. No, I think it takes a lot of trust between the vendors community and the state to sort of make that work correctly. And I love the RFI Square because you're not asking for a scope of work and meeting all these requirements. You're saying, here's my problem. You community that work on this every single day, you tell me how you would fix it if you were me. And it's awesome. Like we've gotten some incredible results from the RFI Squared process. And frankly, like it stood up nationally as like the way we should be sort of solving government problems. So I love it. Tons of kudos for that. The POC, how that shakes out. I'm going to come in and do a bunch of work. I'm going to make $1 or whatever the pay is for it. I think there's still some kinks to work out there.
Yes.
And I think too, like if we're talking about cutting edge innovation, we're talking about 12 to 18 months, like I think we're missing the point. I know this takes a lot of time. Like it's government. It takes a while, but industry can move faster. And if government can move faster too, which I know they can, like I think we should move faster together.
So excellent point there. First of all, total acknowledgement that even having our industry partner to do proof of concept, there's still like wrinkles needs to be ironed out.
Yep.
First of all, I mean, I think some proof of concept are taking way too long. Like 12 to 18 months. No, the proof of concept should be 90 days, you know, like
to build a chatbot.
The chatbot
or by the way, those exist already.
Right. or 6 months at maximum, because at some point the POC is no longer a POC.
It's just a project.
You ended up have to move in with your client. Like that doesn't work. Two, we are very, very mindful from the fact that sometimes the POC and then the state doesn't have money other than $1. It precludes the small business to come in because they
Totally.
don't have the capital for them
Yep.
to carry, whether it's a 3 weeks or up to a 6 month. Anything more than 6 months should not be. That said, half of my job right now is working with philanthropies. There's a tremendous interest for philanthropic support
Yep.
to say, hey, look, one is the state is a better candidate now for philanthropy to work with than the federal government. Two, simply because the size and complexity of the state can focus, it's more ripe for a POC than something, perhaps that they are interested in. And by working with the philanthropy and hopefully can get them connected with some of these businesses, if they truly want to do this, I think that could open more doors than potentially we are seeing today.
Yep.
That's number one. Number two, I would say we all know the state budget situation is not good.
Yeah,
It's not
we're
in good
broke.
shape.
We're
We're broke, right? Right. But I don't want that to be seen as a discouraged to say, okay, there's just no business when it comes to state of California. Twofold to look at it. One, if there's already investment on the table, focusing on expanding the existing investment to maximize it. Two, I know companies spend a lot of money to respond to these huge requests for proposal. The time and energy that you spend on that, if we can pivot that to have you spend it on the POC instead, I think that's way more valuable.
I think so too. And I'll just make a point because you're right. We do hear that a lot. We're broke and things aren't changing. It's not getting rosier anytime soon. But we've run the numbers, and what I always tell my clients when they're like, should we even focus? California's broke. Let's go focus on another state. Even in broke times, California still spends more on technology year over year, even when there's massive budget deficits. Because there is the idea that a lot of these efficiencies and the focus on these efficiencies are going to pay off in the long run to save the state money. That's the whole idea of an efficiency. So yes, we're broke, but turning lemons into lemonade, it's a tremendous opportunity to sort of bring something to the state that's going to help it meet its goals, which are spending less money, right?
Yeah. No, that's exactly it. In fact, I like the time when we have a budget challenge. I think it's a ripe environment to forces people to think differently.
Totally.
Right?
You have to get creative.
You have to get creative.
Yep.
That's when you can see creativity and people are willing to, break through into whatever mode that they're so comfortable with. And when there's money, when there's less risk, no, when we're broke, when we are under the pressure to say, look, we still have to continue to transform. You cannot just sit back and say, okay, well, I'll transform when we have, money on the table. We don't have that kind of luxury.
Right.
Our residents demand the government to continue to improve. Our own state workforce are demanding the fact that we need to do things better.
Yep.
That's what job fulfillment is all about.
Yep.
So if you think about from people, we need to entice these talent to continue to perform at their best. We're looking at the processes that there's so much room for improvement. We just need to look at it creatively. And you couple with, hey, technology in many cases can help you if you can be creative about it. I think we have all of the pieces in place to make this work.
Yeah, you're right. It's all there. And then I don't want to forget, because we do have a ton, the industry is here as a partner. They're ready to help. They have worked through tough times, lean times, fat times. And I mean, they know it. They know it so well. So treating them as another partner at the table in hey, industry, here's our problem. Help us solve it. Come in as a good partner.
Yeah.
A good vendor partner.
Yeah.
They're here. They're so ready to help. And it's just pinning people down to hear the ideas and being flexible with how we implement some of this stuff, I think is really important as well.
Yeah, I just want to echo on that. Just the final point is so much so. At first, I've been in this space forever, feels like forever, literally probably over 25 years and north of that. One thing that I always enjoyed is to meet good people with that common sense of purpose
Yep.
It doesn't matter what business card you carry. They want to make sure our government serve our residents and they want to come and help. That I value tremendously. And in today's world, actually, even the vendor, I don't even call folks vendors anymore. I call them industry partner,
Yep.
or even better, they're innovators. I'm seeking innovators
Yep.
that can continue to work with the state of California to find efficiency from maximizing the service that they have already with us, that already invested in the state of California, or come up with new thing that we didn't even know by focusing the problem at hand.
Well, and I think it's funny, like no one ever leaves the IT, state and local government industry. Like they do, they just shift from company to company, role to role. I'm overseeing these departments, I'm overseeing those departments. And you're right, like you remember those great partners, regardless of whatever logo they're wearing today. And like I can call them, they're a straight shooter, they're going to give it to me honestly. And so like...
And they will answer my calls on the weekends.
Right?
I literally have called people and text people sometimes when we're in the buying. Who stepped up, they stepped up.
Yeah, no, and I mean, it's the people when things hit the fan at the state level, it's the people that will call you and say, what do you need?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not worried about a contract. I'm not worried about how much money I'm going to make. Like, I'm here. What do you need? How can we help you? And like that, I think, is so important in being a great vendor partner, a great innovator to the state. I love it. I'm going to steal that term, by the way. Let's get a little personal. You have 14 months left to turn the state into a 3E, efficient, effective,
and engaged.
Engaged, thank you, government. And it sounds like you're laying the groundwork to do that, which kudos. It's a big job. What does, month 15 look like for you, besides like a very well-deserved vacation?
Yes. Oh my goodness. Vacation definitely in the plan. Figuring out, what's that look like? I would say I'm at the place that I'm close to, actually not close. I started working way too young. I wish I was closer to retirement than I am. In 15 months, I cannot.
We're glad you're not. Yeah.
I'm still going to be, looking for opportunity, how I can be very, very valuable in this space. I don't have any plan layout for me at the moment. I mean, I often talk about, you know what, if I have nothing to do, I'll open up a bakery. I do not know I do not know how to bake.
Yeah.
But that would give me a new challenge.
Yep.
I'm a sucker for new challenge. Like I want to learn, I want to grow, and I want to share all my learnings and journeys with people, whoever want to listen. And Jen, you know this, you watch my career, path and gosh, these decades. I have a lot of scars. I have a lot of lessons learned. And I'm just really looking for a place that people might be interested to see, hey, what are those scars that you have, how you gotten those? And how do you recover from the fall? And then therefore, my goal is that then people don't repeat the same mistake.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is something that I would love to do. And I think it will be fun.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I think just your like vast experience in California. I've worked in some national roles and, spent a ton of time in Texas and Florida and New York and these other states. They're like, oh, you're from California. Like, how do you guys do it? So I think taking like those scars and, they are scars, but they're also like valuable learned experiences.
I call them badge of honor.
Right?
Yeah.
Taking those and sort of sharing it with other states even would be really interesting to see. And I know you do a ton in philanthropy, charity, giving back. So respecting that too and some kind of role there. And I mean, frankly, whoever our next governor is would be absolutely insane to let you get away. So I know you love a good challenge. Like, here's my challenge to the next administration. It's like, find a way to hold on to Amy.
Oh my
Put
goodness.
her in like some really cool role that she gets to do her thing and just set her loose with all these departments to continue the efficiency stuff.
Thank you. I mean, like I said, if they put me on a bakery board to oversee how bakeries are operating.
You're
I'm cool with
licensing
that.
like
License. That's
bakery
right.
boards or something.
Yeah,
I love it.
I
Yeah.
got to figure out the difference between baking soda versus baking powder.
It's okay. There's always something to learn, right?
Right?
That's the
That's a
beauty
new
of
challenge.
it.
Right.
Always a
Right.
continuous learner is the way that we should all carry about our lives. Well, all right, to wrap this up, what is, and you've had a lot of them, nothing to age, just you're so effective, you keep climbing the ladder. What has your favorite job in government been?
Favorite job in my 25 plus years of state government, doing what I'm doing right now, it's really problem solving, listening to people, and then trying to be creative to trying to like, hey, figuring out what the solution are. I'm actually back to the days I was more of a data analyst.
Yeah.
Looking at all aspect of information and then make sense of it. That, I mean, reflecting back early time of my career, I feel like those are the time that I feel like, this is the moment I get to geek out.
Yeah.
So that part of me is still there. And
where you're like, send me that Excel spreadsheet. Like, I'll do it myself. Yeah.
Yeah, I was a database,
Ooh,
person.
I love
it.
Like
It was cool stuff. But kidding aside, it's really, like I say, I love a good challenge, right? If there's something that people cannot solve, give it to me.
Yep.
I love doing that. But that involves a lot of talking to people, understand where they're coming from, and then and then talk to them and test out, hey, what about this solution? What about solution? It's a little bit like a design thinking.
Yeah.
So that type of work in my early careers, I loved it.
Yeah. And then what was your least favorite job?
Least favorite job.
Or maybe like, what was the one that like left you with the most scars?
Oh gosh. Honestly, these were impactful roles, but being part of the strike team, to be the ER doctor, to send in when the situation is so dire and expecting you to just, fix it, those are high pressure work.
Yeah.
Not that I don't want to sound ungrateful, like that I don't, appreciate the opportunity, because I think that's just, hey, people believe in you, go do it. But the consequences usually, or the outcome is never perfect.
Yep.
And in a bubble that we live in, when the results are not perfect,
yeah,
people are very, very hard on you. Not the leadership, not the people that I work with. Sometimes, the public, the media.
Yeah.
And in that case, it's like, I feel like I'm not doing enough to defend the team who has been in the trenches with me and have put in all the hours, all the hard work.
Yeah.
And an imperfect outcome sometimes taint, their ability. And that is the least favorite part of my work. I'm like, hey,
no one did anything wrong.
Right.
This is just how the cookie crumbles.
Right.
It was out of our control kind of stuff. Yeah. I mean, it's brutal. Like being on the department side of that, no one loves when the strike team comes in.
Right.
Like you're automatically bad guys on day one because they're like, you're going to come in and tell me how
You're
to do my job.
body.
Great. Okay, secretary, thanks a lot. Like, it's never a good situation that you're stepping into. So like starting from a bad place is really hard. And then you have the politics of it and the relationships of it and the resistance to change in it. Yeah, super tough.
Yeah.
And then like the incremental achievements no one ever gets in the paper for doing something really good.
No.
You just get called out for the bad stuff, the stuff that fails. Actually, we had Liana Bailey Cremens on, and it was funny. I was like, tell me, your role as a CIO. And I'm like, so you have like all the responsibility, but like only a little bit of the power to actually influence these things. And she was like, yeah. And I'm like, that sounds rough.
Yeah,
and it is. Yeah.
And,
sure.
And Leanna is doing great at the being the state CIO. It's a tough position
Totally
to be in. And then Jeffrey Marino, ODI director. I understand you're going to be talking to him soon. He's coming on, and I think just he's definitely one of those individuals that would love to roll up the sleeve to do it, but under what circumstances, right? And I think that's one of the reasons, coming back to the efficiency work that I'm doing right now, it is trying to be preventative rather than reactive. So the more we could be strategic, be thoughtful, and to streamline, to simplify the process, it would remove or de-risk so much for things that are being overly complicated or overly bureaucratic or overly what do you call it, risky, that nobody
Yep.
else knows how to handle it. So that's why, like, bringing back to the efficiency work, in many cases people say, oh, it's just about saving money. I say absolutely not. It's how do you make government run more smoothly
Yeah.
by having more people be more modern in the process, using modern tools, simplify it, not only to make your work easier, but most importantly, improves your delivery, where the customer experience for our residents much improved.
Well, and I think it's interesting too, because every government employee is also a customer, right? Like we all interact with the government.
Yep.
So having that sort of viewpoint on this is going to make your life better at the
Mhm.
office, but also at home,
Mhm.
like that's
Mhm.
a win. It's a win for everyone.
That's exactly it.
Thank you so much, Amy. It's always great to catch up with you. You are ever accessible as always, and you have a standing invite to come back whenever you want to chat about everything you're working on.
Thank you so much for having me.